back to before anything, I would like you to understand that, how I was saying earlier, that it's a total difference between, especially considering the English language, it's a total difference between the serpent, Leviathan, the great dragon. You know what I'm saying? If you pay attention to the serpent in in the story of Adam and Eve, it was telling them, he was really trying to get them to own something. He was trying to show them that they were gods. We all are gods. We indeed are gods. Gods or devils, depending on if you're gonna be a liar, you're gonna live a lie, or what you're gonna do. But truly, we all are gods. And I showed you that earlier. But just by the English language, it doesn't say that we're children of the Most High Man. It says we're children of the Most High God. So when we grow up in the Spirit, as I said earlier, what would that make us? And when you really look at the Old Testament, and you really see how, they really made God cool with slavery. To make God cool with slavery is to make God cool with, murder, rape, like, wow, like everything under the book, everything under the sun. Like I said, there are things in slavery that, probably wasn't even mentioned, man. You know what I'm saying? So that's to make God a complete accomplice to all that, as well. And another thing is understanding the whole purpose for control. When people fear what they don't understand, they must control it. And two great movies that I always, one great movie I always refer to is the Book of Eli. It's the Book of Eli, where it shows Eli. It shows Eli going to the town, and he talks to the head guy of the town, the owner of the town or whatever. And the owner, it's just him and Eli. And the owner tells him, like, hey, we're the only ones that can read in here. We're the only ones that can read in the city, in this town. And it was very interesting because it was a white town. The white guy on the white town telling Eli, we're the only ones that can read. And the whole book of Eli being based upon, basically the law being written in this man's mind and heart, because he read it in Braille, and even when he lost the book at the end, he laid down on the couch and, recited it all, from his mind and heart, which we will also go in scripture, and I'll show you that scripture, that that the law is written in our minds and our hearts. So therefore, we really don't even really need a book anyway. When you did wrong, when you did right, and that could be the end of this here. But that's really, really, really the deal. That's really the deal. And another movie that came to mind the other day was X-Men. And the whole concept of Professor X. Y'all probably never really peeped that. Y'all probably never really peeped that Professor X really be controlling the mutants, kind of. You know what I'm saying? Heavy. Especially Jean Grey. If y'all realize her character, which is like the black woman type, what I'm saying? It's really the black woman, Jean Grey, that's really who that is. But, he controls Jean Grey, but once he loses control of Jean Grey, she turns into the Phoenix, and she destroys everything by fire, you know what I'm saying? And that's very interesting because he can't control Jean Grey, you know what I'm saying? And that's totally symbolism in a testament to the African peoples and just the ancient spirit, that hovers over humanity. When one can't control it, but they know that energy is there, they would try their hardest to control that. So very interesting to know. Very interesting. And when you go to when you and this is back to the Bible study now. Back to the Bible study now. We turn to Mark 13. Verse 32 through 37. It tells us to wake up. Connect that to Romans 13, 11 through 12. It consistently reminds us to wake up. It reminds us to wake up. and just in Proverbs 11 to Psalms 94:20, when you connect those two, and you see the throne of iniquity, and you connect those with Deuteronomy 25:15, the perfect and just weight, and just measure that God delights in. You really get to crack codes. You know what I'm saying? You get to crack codes. Yeah. And see, yeah, and this is why, all of these things that I'm showing you now, it just makes perfect sense that this is why they took the Bible out of school. You know what I'm saying? This is why they took the Bible out of politics and out of court, because, once people really get to understanding how much bullshit is in the Bible, they'll start lying on that motherfucker. It wouldn't even make none to lie on it in court or, none of that, and not really be sincere. It wouldn't, once people really understand that psychology. So it's definitely interesting. And another thing, that this whole time, we have African Americans especially, being that the Bible is a book that we were given when we was in slavery, we still haven't let it go. We have not stepped outside of anything that that Master has given us, and that's one of the most sickest, mentally ill things about us. You know what I'm saying? Is we won't step out of anything that Master has given us. You know what I'm saying? Trying to find comfortability with it instead of, going and understanding our ancient customs, which all of this shit came from. Everything in the world, period, that's really worthwhile, came from original African customs, pretty much, so many things, many things. And then I tell people just the simple fact that even after slavery, like even after slavery, during slavery, they brought our ancestors here because we were the only ones that knew what to do with the land. Point blank, period. When they seen those pyramids, it was like, what the, you feel me? We were the only ones that knew what to do with that stuff, So, there you have it, and that's everything, Yeah.